Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here,
Adventure Blue Dude.
and welcome to the So You Want to Be an Imagineer Inside Baseball Show, the show where we talk shit from the field, from the dugouts before going to play on the fields. Yeah, messed up that. Ugh. I am like messing up things left and right. Like on the Park Builders last night, I was like, I totally like when I went to do the outro, I was like reading a completely different thing. Oh god, that was embarrassing. Oh my god. Alright, so, Adventure Blue Dude, we are covering Project 10, but before we do that, my friends, I think we have some unfinished business to attend to.
Yes, Monkey was eliminated last round, and I'm very sad to see him go, because he was a very great player throughout the season, and the seasons prior, and in the future, as I am sure he will be.
No, I'm talking about the Blue Wedding, which you're appropriately dressed for.
Fuck me. God. Stop wearing t-shirts. Yes, Tiki tried to stage a coup against our very own Snoopy with posters that said, Snoopy goes home. And I was dragged into the poster somehow. And, I mean, I did not give him permission to my likeness.
What character did I make you?
Oh, the chick who you couldn't name.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna name her. I was gonna do Pixie Dust, but I wanted to get everyone from the final 7 in the poster, and Snoopy is obviously Snoopy, so.
Yeah. The suit's in the mail.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But I find it incredibly fitting that I am Lucy and Infinite is Schroeder. Oh god. With all due respect to Infinite. Oh boy. But yes, I have had this fixation with Infinite the whole season. And in fact, you know, we shall see where it goes. But Adventure Blue Dude, stop trying to dance around the topic.
I'm not a dancer. What are you talking about?
Come on. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it.
Wisdom decided to, sorry, I'm posting a link on the internet.
How dare you?
Okay. Well, you forgot to link it on the forum.
No, I didn't.
You said Inside Baseball. Yeah, you said Inside Baseball show for this project, exclamation point, there's nothing there. So,
oh. Wow. Wow. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, me. Yay,
it was just
points for
thanks.
me.
Speaking of your mistakes, what happened was Tiki staged a majig where me and Monkey were pitted against each other, and I'm not entirely sure, but my assumption is that neither of us wanted to vote for each other, so we just voted for ourselves. Because I don't think anyone else voted for Monkey. I'm pretty sure everyone voted for me. If Monkey voted for me, I don't give a shit. But, yeah, I was eliminated in what Tiki refers to as the Blue Wedding.
Oh
apparently.
yes. I will always be, like, so proud of myself for that title, that avatar. But really, my friend, it was a smart bit of social gameplay on my end, because I did manage to make a very effective alliance.
Oh no, yeah, it was.
The form of myself, Infinite, and Snoopy, essentially a new friend and a very old friend coming together to kind of form this tight allegiance to sort of form a voting block.
Yeah.
So that's how that came about. But the subject of Monkey, it's actually pretty interesting because, you know, it's like I did bring about, I will admit, I was the person, you know, like, we talked about it a couple times off air, you know, during hangouts that we would do, like Theater Geek episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we would just kind of generally talk about the game and our strategy and stuff, and I would kind of bring up, like, look, you know, like, at some point, and I believe this was, like, pre-merge, you know, this was, like, might have been, like, a couple projects before the merge. And I was like, at some point, like, it's not going to be at the merge. We both decided, like, not the merge, because, like, we need to give you at least a fighting chance.
Yeah.
But at some point before semifinals, we need to get you out. Now, I think what changed in Monkey's head, because I actually do think he was pretty willing to do it until the fact that you were one of the most active people. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he had a change of heart similar to the change of heart that I had regarding cutting Snoopy. But I don't know, it's like I feel like Monkey, he really effectively played both sides of the season. You know what I mean? Because he was kind of in my ear, and I did genuinely believe that, because shit, Monkey played arguably the best strategic game outside of my Season 8 game, and Season 11, I mean, I was really impressed with some of the stuff he did, specifically getting Snoopy out at Final 7. So my logic was that, Final 7, Monkey is a fan of making big moves at Final 7. Let's do it. Let's take it. Let's take the opportunity to get him out. But, so the really interesting thing about the Blue Wedding is that it was a failed attempt the first time around, and it actually got dragged out for another round, in which you were essentially like, oh god, you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I really do feel bad about it, in which you were essentially like a dead man walking.
Yeah, when you first did the Blue Wedding, I would have been pissed off as hell if I was eliminated, solely because of the fact that I had PO MVP that round. But
right.
when you tried to stage that, you failed to realize that I had that. But you put up like all the stuff like, oh, he's out, and like, nope.
It'd be like someone on Survivor trying to blindside someone who had just won immunity.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But that happens. And, like, when it first started, like, it was kind of, like, tongue-in-cheek, like, like, you're there going, like, I'm gonna get you, and, like, okay, this will be fun. So, like, that happened, and, I actually PM'd Monkey, and this seems to have been my go-to phrase with alliances, but I said, let's give him a show. So, he agreed, and nothing really became of it, but it was like, if anything happens, like, it's fun at the time, for the time being, so let's have, like, a fun little, like, quote-unquote, like, fun little rivalry. Like, we were talking, like, Andy Kaufman and fucking Jerry Lawler bullshit. And then as it went on, I know it wasn't your intention, but it got a little malicious. And then that's when I started having a bit of the change of heart. That's when Monkey put you up, and I said, I'm okay with this because I fully expected you to put me up. So I figured, okay, you and me will have a thing. Either way, whatever happens, this will stop.
Right.
And then you put Monkey up, and then I got pissed. But up to that point, like, it was starting to get less and less
funny,
tongue-in-cheek fun.
Right.
And more like, oh.
Like, I'm screwed, there's no way out of this, why the hell am I even still doing work on this project?
Oh, no, not even that, it was just like, it kind of stopped being friendly. Like, even if that was I know that wasn't your intention, but...
No, absolutely not, because like I said, it's the night that it actually happened, like, first of all, it's pretty much all Trevor's fault that things escalated to the point that they actually did. Because Trevor was just like, oh my god, like Adventure Blue Dude, your longtime alliance partners just tried to stab you in the back. And to me, this is kind of akin to like, well, dude, it didn't actually happen, and now you're just like kind of revealing my strategy for the whole world to see.
Honestly, I think three-fourths is it was sarcasm in terms of Trevor, and that makes me laugh my fucking ass off. That was him going like, "All this stuff happens. He sent me a link to a picture, so I'm just gonna post it here." And like, this happened, and then oh noes. This happened. Like at that point, like I didn't even care what was going on. I was just laughing because of how Trevor was posting it.
But then, like right after it happened, like the response was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like it genuinely like got people interested in the season again. I think.
Yeah.
and which was definitely 100% my intention. Like that was the only thing I wanted to do with it.
Yeah.
And but you know, like the night it happened, like we were basically giving each other virtual high fives over Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my god, this is so funny.
Yeah.
And then I believe, like, did you get offended when I kept kind of insinuating the whole James Franco fuck it's got to go?
Yeah, like it started to get a little too much as time
Right,
went on.
right,
Yeah.
right. I would just like bump the thread for no reason. And
Yeah.
just, like, you know, fuck it's got to go. And then
Yeah, that I'm sorry.
okay, but I can walk you through what happened with the whole PO MVP thing, because it's like, you know, like I knew that Infinite had the diamond PO MVP, and I genuinely wanted to actually use it. You know what I mean? Like I want, because time after time we see people actually get these PO MVPs and fuck all actually happens with it.
Yeah.
And I wanted that to change. I wanted it to be like, okay, you know, let's actually have a PO MVP where, you know, where a big move is made because of it. So I definitely stand by my decision. Not to mention, I still think it's really flaky that, I don't know, this is one of the things that kind of bothers me about this season from a hosting perspective, that you just kind of tends to change how the rules work on a whim, because it's like one round suddenly it's like, oh yeah, guess what, the team leader can be nominated for elimination. I'm like, well, wait, since when does that work?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it was Walt's fault, and to be fair, I feel like Mew has been coming up with really good Walt's fault twists, so you know, I gotta give him credit for that, but I don't know, at the same time it's just a little bit like. So the thing I felt the most bad for was when you told me you had to vote for yourself because you didn't want to vote for Monkey. And that was basically the point that I realized I had kind of gone too far.
That's when it really reached its apex, because I mean, like, at that point, like, it was between me and Monkey. Like, we haven't necessarily worked, like, close, but we were working relatively close, like, we were friends. Like, yeah, like, both of us were very active, and in no way was I going to vote for Monkey, because I felt that even though he put you up, he was still kind of dragged into it, and he really shouldn't have been. Which is why, yeah.
Alright, so you know, and like I said, like, I did genuinely feel bad, because towards the end of it, it was just like, it was literally just like, ha ha ha, do your little tricks, Monkey, before we eliminate you.
Yeah.
And I say monkey, meaning I didn't mean to insult real monkey. I mean, like, dance, chimp, dance!
No, I mean, like, towards the end it got a little bit much. But, like, at the beginning when it was, like, the friendly rivalry, it was fun.
Yeah.
Even in retrospect, the whole thing was fun, even though it got bad at the end. But
well, I mean, I feel like even though it did get a little personal, it did lead, like, I feel like, I do feel like that whole, the Diamond PO MVP thing, it was the most interesting thing to happen strategically.
Oh, no, it definitely was. It was a really interesting move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things I have to critique about with the way that Mew handled that situation was, and I've brought this up before, but it's just worth saying again, like, he would drag the game events into the brainstorming threads.
Yeah.
Which was just totally, like, that is what the actual project thread is for, not the brainstorming thread. The brainstorming thread is for brainstorming.
Yeah,
the project thread is for announcing twists related to said project. It should be quite simple.
I don't remember what round he did that, but yeah, like, it was kind of weird. Like, he would go on the project thread, the brainstorming thread, I mean, and then it would just be like this looming fucking Mew up there saying, "Shit's going down, watch it." Good
Yeah,
fucking luck.
it'd be like he'd phrase it like the most melodramatic, almost like hyperbolic way, like, oh my god, it's just gonna get more and more and more twisted. Oh my god. So yeah, I feel like in retrospect that was kind of a little bit of a mistake. But like we said, it was an interesting little project. And then we got what was supposed to be the speed round, which turned into an ordeal. Oh boy. He froze! He froze! Oh no! Okay, well, I will get him. I will hopefully get him back, but I guess in the meantime, I should probably talk about the Godzilla project. Yay! Oh God, Adventure Blue Dude. I'm going to eject him and then invite him back. Okay. So yeah, the Godzilla project. This was called Godzilla: The Battle for Toho-Topolis. I really enjoyed this project. I really enjoyed working on it. Like, from the start, I did not want it to be a representation of the Legendary Pictures Godzilla. A, because if you watch my review, Godzilla himself is awesome. The human characters are kind of bland. Altogether, I didn't really feel like that movie came together as well as it could have. But I digress. That's another topic entirely. I really, really wanted to do something that was just entirely based on the Toho Godzilla. And so basically what that came down to was just choosing the right monsters for it. So essentially, we wanted to do two different tracks. We wanted to do a Mothra track and a Rodan track. The Mothra track would take you through the Monster Island, and then the Rodan track would take you through a burning cityscape. The Rodan track would be kind of more sort of man-made monsters, whereas the Mothra track would be kind of more fantastical and nature-based monsters. So what we have, first we have a queue. I'm very proud of this queue. It's the Sarazawa Research Facility. And, of course, Dr. Sarazawa, played by Ken Watanabe, is the main... He is basically the guy who's the holdover from the Legendary Pictures Godzilla films. He's the one kind of link between that and this project, because other than him, other than his presence, it's all Toho stuff. I feel like the queue actually can take some visual cues from the Legendary release, because I feel like the queue has... there's like a giant larva that's sitting on an operation table, and I feel like that would kind of look better in terms of like kind of looking more like the Legendaries thing and less like a Toho creation. I don't know. I feel like I got kind of lazy at the end room because it's like, oh, look, it's just a giant fossilized monster. I don't know. I feel like I could have done something more with that. However, I do love what I did with the safety video, because I love how the safety video was the luminous fairies. And I'm going to try and get Adventure Blue Dude back in here. Adventure Blue Dude, come back. Come back. The luminous fairies, yes, the little annoying fairy creatures from the Godzilla franchise. Now, I must admit, I felt a little bad about basically doing botched English. Like, tiny bit racist. I mean, I'll say it. It's it is a little bit of a stereotypical like botched, like English. But I don't know. I mean, that's just how I just kind of tried to pay tribute to the choppy dialogue of the Toho film for that safety video. But my favorite line is, "No flash pictures, or else the monster you're riding might crash into a building and die." Now, we wouldn't want that, would we? Good, great stuff. Great stuff. So let's see. Let's just kind of quickly run through the villains themselves. We have in the Rodan track, we have Mecha Godzilla fighting Hedorah. Hedorah is a smog-based monster. And what I did for Hedorah was I kind of made him a mix of animatronic technology and projection technology, because of course we have like the creature himself is like just a big giant animatronic creation, and then but in terms of the smog, I feel like the smog, just to radiate more of the effect of it actually being like a full-fledged smog monster. We just have some projection effects just to just to kind of heighten that effect. So basically the rides, the track splits and they go into two different arenas. Arena is kind of like, it's kind of like the term for the main show building of a roller coaster, of an indoor roller coaster. Like Space Mountain has the big arena, Revenge of the Mummy has an arena. So it's just kind of like terminology I like to use. But essentially the tracks are both kind of designed the same, but the tracks are designed the same. Like they're basically like, like you go in, you take a turn, you do a 0G roll, you do a loop, and then you do a helix. So it's essentially the exact same track layout, just different monster fights going on. And so you have Godzilla, you have Mechagodzilla, and then you have Hedorah. Mechagodzilla, he just fires a beam, so it's, good stuff. And so Hedorah just, he just vanishes. He just kind of like just evaporates, kind of. And then Mechagodzilla, he unleashes just this mechanized roar as you leave the building. And so the Mothra track, on the other hand, we have Biollante, who's a giant carnivorous rose, and this is actually my favorite of all the Godzilla creatures, just because of how goddamn creepy this thing is. Like, oh my god, this thing will just oh, it's practically guaranteed to give you nightmares, kiddies. It is the most terrifying thing you've ever seen. The Biollante creature, he's essentially just this. He's got like this giant head, and then like all these individual tentacles that all have carnivorous rose heads of their own. So it's just not something you want to be dealing with at all. And let's see, the opposing monster is Megalon, who is kind of a beetle-like. I feel like Megalon, he's one of the more generic of the Toho monsters, but he's somewhat iconic. He's kind of a beetle-like monster, so I feel like he'd be a good thing for Megalon to fight. Essentially, the Megalon scene is basically like, the Phantom Menace thing where they have the whole, there's always a bigger fish. Like, there's the one giant fish in the Naboo scene that gets swallowed by the even more gigantic fish. Yeah, so it's essentially like that. It's like you got the one giant monster that gets swallowed by an even bigger monster. So yeah. And then after the arena scenes, both of the coasters get launched into a final battle setting that takes place outside the perimeter of the park. This takes place, by the way, it's Disney MGM Studios. Our task was to replace either Rockin' Roller Coaster or Tower of Terror with a horror movie themed attraction, which I thought was really interesting. I almost went with Fear and Loathing. I really wanted to do Fear and Loathing, but as Adventure Blue Dude said to me, it's Fear and Loathing is it's not a horror movie. I mean, I'd argue there are enough horror elements to make it fit. Just like I kind of made Scott Pilgrim fit into a horror-based land, arguably. Scott Pilgrim, the ride, being one of my favorite attractions I've ever designed. But, so First of all, you'd have to be absolutely insane to replace Tower of Terror with anything. I mean, that's literally like replacing Pirates of the Caribbean at this point. It's like it's just like there is no way we were ever going to do this project and replace Tower of Terror. It just that's the most asinine thing I have ever heard. I'm sorry, but it just makes me laugh that that was even an option. I mean, of course we're gonna replace Rock and Roller Coaster. I mean, Rock and Roller. I haven't been on it. I'm sure it's an okay ride. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it has its moments, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest Aerosmith fan. You know, I think they could update it, but that's neither here nor there. But so, anyways, the final launch takes you outside the perimeter of the park in the most elaborate outdoor scene that has ever been constructed for a theme park. Adventure Blue, dude, why won't you come back? I'm going to send you another invite. So the final battle takes place on a military airport landing strip. There's a giant aircraft that's kind of just spread out War of the Worlds style. And the last encounter features the world's two largest animatronic creations. King Ghidorah, who is, of course, the giant three-headed monster, the three-headed dragon, essentially, and Godzilla himself, the big guy, who is a 120-foot hulking monstrosity of an animatronic. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to do an attraction that's just, like, full of these, like, huge-scale animatronics. Like, I feel like a Shadow of the Colossus attraction would be very interesting in that regard. But yeah, I digress. So, really, I find it very satisfying that the ride builds up to Godzilla until the very end, and then when you see him, it's just like, yes, yes, there he is in all his gigantic glory. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting, like, 'cause it's like I could just imagine people would like take screen caps of the animatronic like via Google Earth and stuff like that. You know what I mean? From above, like I that's the one thing is that I'd wonder how they'd actually hide the physical animatronics. Like, because you'd have to put up some pretty damn big walls. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the only thing. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting if you just saw them, if they were just kind of part of the skyline of the park. You know what I mean? If they were just there and just kind of an ever-looming presence in the park. Like, oh, look, there's a giant monster fight that's going on. I don't know, like that'd be an idea. I don't know. I wish Adventure Blue Dude was here so I could actually ask him about it. Darn you, Adventure Blue Dude, for your internet. But so let's see. What I guess that's about all I have to say. I'm really glad that you enjoyed the project as much as he did. I'm really glad that it's his favorite this season because I worked really hard on it. It's definitely the project that I've had the most passion for this season. Again, I kind of feel like we could have done better brainstorming. I mean, don't get me wrong, Twilight definitely helped. And you know, everyone contributed ideas here and there, but Adventure Blue Dude and I were talking about this off camera, but really, the problem with the brainstorming this season was never really solved. Because the main problem was people would focus on tiny details before we got to the main picture. Now, don't get me wrong, tiny details are great. Tiny details are what makes a freaking attraction. I mean, of course, that's what separates Disney from other people. But really, before we have the tiny details, we have to have the main scope of what we're doing. You know, we have to kind of know what direction we're going in. Really, it's like, I generally don't like to be brainstorming about like tiny details until we have the full outline of what we want to do. You know what I mean? Like a whole list of scenes and everything. So in that regard, I feel like I don't know. You know, like, for example, Bear Kid, and, like, one of the things that I actually wanted to put into this project that I actually forgot to, and I'm kind of sad about that, is a reference to G4 Studios. Now, don't get me wrong, Bear Kid, you suggested that, and it is a very good idea, But you suggested that, like, as soon as we did the Godzilla project, like, well, of course we have to have a, it's like, yeah, but it's like, I don't know. I'm not trying to come down on you guys. I'm just trying to. It's a problem that persisted throughout the course of the season, and I'm really just trying to, to give you guys a better work ethic going forward. So hopefully, I like the open brainstorming threads we've been doing lately have been really good. But hopefully, hopefully in the future seasons this won't be as much of an issue because I don't know the activity all the way around. In spite of me, I was kind of hard on this season towards the middle of it, like saying it was like, oh my god, worst season ever. But really, I've come around on it. I really have because Heart of Darkness. It's really one of the more fitting titles we've ever had for So You Want to Be an Imagineer season because it's like everyone has kind of played. Well, I don't want to say everyone because really the new players haven't really done anything strategic outside of Infinite because Infinite has been working with me. But I don't know. But Heart of Darkness, it's like it just fits. I don't know what else to say. I feel like it fits more than any other title ever has. And so yeah, so good call, Mew. Good call on that title change after the All Stars thing this season fell apart. So I guess with that, I should talk about the Snoopy thing. Yeah, I definitely wanted to blindside Snoopy this round. The only reason I didn't is because really in the overall project write-up, he contributed the only other substantial thing besides me, which was the gift shop, which I loved. So Snoopy, gosh darn it, I had to give you a free pass. But regardless, I think Snoopy would have survived because I think you was pretty dead set on eliminating Monkey. So, and also, I don't know, like, what's up with the whole, like, changing between the judges voting and the players voting? Really, it should be one or the other in any given season. So, that's another thing where it's like, you kind of just tend to be like, okay, in this round, this is gonna happen. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. Not to come down on you or anything. Not to come down on you, but, so let's see. What else do I have to talk about? What else? I was surprised that nobody commented on my poster making skills when I did the Snoopy Goes Home poster. I'm actually quite proud of it. How I was able to. I love the detail of how I worked the the knapsack that Snoopy's carrying into a torch, into a snuffed torch. I just love that. It tickles me. And then I have everyone, like, the only one who really makes sense is is me and Infinite, or Lucy and Schroeder. Oh god. But yeah, but seriously, guys, if you have anything to say about that poster, I'd love to hear some feedback on it, even though I didn't go through with the actual blindside, because I am kind of proud of it, just on an artistic level, because it's like, it's like, I don't know, it's funny. It's funny, and I think it fit. It fit as much as the blue wedding fit. So, so I guess we should get into my predictions. So we have the final 5. And I did it. I managed to get all 3 of the original players, of the new players into the finals. We have Infinite, who I am definitely strongly backing going forward. We have Twilight, who I believe would be an excellent winner this season. He's worked really hard. And we have Brer Kitten. Brer Kitten's been a little more quiet, but he could come out with some really good stuff. We don't know. He has been known to do some good solo work. And then we have Snoopy. Snoopy, gosh darn it, I think you're going to win this thing again. I really do. Because I know that you can make a really good standalone project. And I don't know, it's like, if you win, it's kind of going to bother me because it's essentially the same game that you played in Season 10, except less active. because essentially you just relied on your strength, which is doing the smaller parts of projects but doing them incredibly well. And I think you're a really unique player in that regard. But I don't know, just historically, I really kind of don't want to see another two-time winner, at least not for a while. Like, I'd like to hold it off until season 20, because that's how long Survivor went. So if we can get to season 20 without a two-time winner, I'd be kind of tickled. But I don't know if we're going to get that far. But I do think that Snoopy has the most experience out of these three new players. He's definitely the veteran. And I don't know. Brer Kitten, though, like I said, Brer Kitten's come out with some pretty good solo stuff. And being as though the game's every man for himself moving forward, I think he might be able to pull an upset. Like, really, any one of the three new players could potentially win. One thing I got to address, though. Twilight? Okay, I know you're probably watching. I hope you're watching this. I really hope you're watching this. Oh, God, please, Twilight, you gotta actually do something this round and not just copy and paste a project that you did before. That's because that's just not how these rounds work. You know, it's like, I'm sure that what you did before and what you're planning on posting is good, but you just got to come up with an original idea of this project. I know that what you did is your original idea, but you've got to come up with something that you did specifically for this project. That's kind of how the Blue Sky thing works. It shouldn't be an idea that you've already had. Now, keep in mind, I have done similar things with Blue Sky projects where, like, I'll maybe take an idea I've had and, like, rework it and expand upon it. And if that's what you want to do, that's totally cool. Do that, by all means. Expand upon an idea you have. What you can't do is just copy and paste. Just please don't do that. If you do that, I can practically guarantee you're not going to make the finals. So, I implore you. I implore you. Please type up an original project and don't just copy and paste something that you've already done. Because if you do that, it's pretty much just... I mean, I don't want to say it's breaking the rules, but it's just not how the game works. You know, it's like you kind of gotta come up with something on the spot, or at least expand upon something. You can't just, you know, it's like I can't just, if I want it, you know, it's like I can't just, like, plop down the Toontown Tower Hotel and be like, there's my project, Toontown Tower Hotel, done. No, it's like, that's an idea I already had, you know, so it's like, so please, Twilight, please, you gotta actually make a new project. So, yeah, with that in mind, let's see, you know, like I said, Brer Kitten and Infinite, both really solid players. I feel like both of them would be good winners. Snoopy would be a good winner, but like I said, just for the sheer sake of my own incredibly selfish gains, I just am kind of rooting against the Snoopy win at this point. But like I said, with my decision to not nominate Snoopy, I kind of just let the game take its course. So, Adventure Blue Dude, he was the Moby Dick that I had to get out. But from there, I don't know. Because really, if you think about it, with me blindsiding Snoopy, I feel like that would be the first time someone's double backstabbed in a season. Because I backstabbed Adventure Blue Dude using Snoopy, and then I would turn around and blindside Snoopy 2 rounds later. So that really would have been one of the dirtiest things ever pulled. So I'm glad I didn't go through with actually physically nominating him, even if he wouldn't have gotten nominated anyways. I'm just glad I don't have that stigma. So, alright, so Adventure Blue Dude, if you're watching this, yeah, I'm glad we at least got to discuss the Blue Wedding, so, yeah, thumbs up for technical difficulties, but, you know, I got through it. I managed to persevere and, come out the other side, much like every one of us has this whole rocky but pretty memorable season. So, yeah, that's it, guys. That's about all I have to say. You know, just good luck, and please put as much detail as you possibly can into your individual projects. I really want to see some good work. I'm really hoping for some good work, and that's about it. I can tell you that my project is going to be based on that beautiful, sexy man right there. And so we'll see how it goes, because I'm literally going to put my project based in the mind of Tommy Wiseau, and I mean that quite literally. So, oh boy. Gonna be a fun one, people. Gonna be a fun end game. So we will see how it goes. All right, well, I guess I will see you guys later. And like I said, good luck to the semifinalists, and here's to a good finish. Yeah.